as we have spawning down here Solar and ZEST. And so we are going to be seeing ZEST go for a very quick probe over here. This probe is just going to be a absolute nuisance to deal with, as it will force Solar to take his third base much quicker than he would like. I'm not really expecting any proxy on this map. It's not really the best map for it. But, you know, anything can really happen, as ZEST can be a little bit aggressive himself, a little bit cheeky with his build orders. But right now, just being a nuisance, trying to mess up the macro of the drones, as Solar gonna be going for the spawning pool. Nexus goes down, Cybernetics core on the way. Everything's looking pretty darn good for right now. And like I was saying, nothing too crazy, nothing really too much else to say at this point. Kind of just waiting for this game to really ramp up. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what ZEST pulls out here. He is known for his Stargate builds. His Stargate is his most powerful play. But it looks like here, instead, he's going to be going for a pretty fast Robo Bay, or Robo Facility. Now, we don't have a Twilight Council. We also don't have any upgrades coming in. So my question is, what is he going to use this Robo Bay or Robo Facility for? Stop. Looks like he's just gonna go for fast, maybe disruptor drops, maybe Colossus drops. So playing it a little bit cheeky, I'd imagine, versus Solar. Maybe just trying to be a little bit aggressive, be a little bit cheeky. It is an interesting way to start this off. Remember, you don't get the kind of buffer a best of 3 series would give you, and right now you need to win both games in order to avoid the Game 7 situation. So, again, I'm just very curious as to what he's deciding to do. Even sending the Warp Prism across without anything in it. Interesting. I guess just trying to mind game his opponent a little bit, but I don't know. Like, it all just seems a little bit crazy from ZEST here. Without a couple of good disruptor shots, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be the best opportunity for him. Yeah, he loses his disruptor shot there, and he doesn't really have a lot of units available to him, so Solar is just really able to get in here with these Lings and find a completely open mineral line. The Adept gonna do what he can. The probes are pulled, but he loses the disruptor. And now the probe's starting to go down. Even though the Lings are dead, this is going to be Solar saying, hey, I can kill you now. And, yeah, just a ton of roaches coming on in Disruptor. Gonna get maybe one drone, but the Queens are in position to shoo that away. We've got Lings on the way. We've got Lair Tech. And while ZEST now starting to build up a small army, you know, it's just really delayed, all things considered. Kind of interested, though, as to why Solar hasn't attacked just yet. Every second that he doesn't, it just becomes harder and harder for him to justify an attack. So maybe playing a little bit too defensive. Oof, losing 2 of the Queens, though. That was a decent connection there on those Disruptors. Now the units of ZEST just going to be running around the Adept. Going to C. One thing to note is that Solar has cut drone production here on 52. And he does try to attack a little bit more, transitioning into that Spire Tech, which can be really good since there's not really a lot of anti-air. Zest's gonna find a good connection, but at the end of the day, you know, you're so delayed from those Disruptor hits that your army isn't as powerful as it could be. Also, sorry about the little bit of a quality dip here. It's the YouTube. It's the YouTube part of it. Unfortunately, I am casting this from a YouTube, essentially. Clean feed. But now ZEST does get in here. He sees that transition. He sees 14 mutas on the way. And that's where things get a little bit dicey for him. As you see, he drops down the photon cannons as instantly as possible, getting tons of stalkers available to him. Good juke's going to save some of those Lings, but he still does take a connection there. Stalker's going to blink to the high ground, do get one of the mutas, but losing a lot of his probes here. So that's going to have to disengage for a time being. He can't really defend both locations at once, so he's just focusing on the muta side of things. You know what? Solar's not producing a ton here. He is still ahead about 15 army supply, but it just doesn't feel like he's really powering up as quickly as he might need to, as we do have ZEST going for a very big attack. And looks like Solar going to try and break his way through that wall, but there are Stalkers in position. The Disruptors going to get a really nice connection. And from here, Solar has lost his base. He doesn't really have that 4th base established either. So losing all these units is going to be a pretty big deal for him. Lings are going to do what they can, but this is a full-on base trade situation. The probes will start to go down now, but the Stalkers are enough to kind of shoo this away for the time being. He does have recall available to him as well once he clears out this drone line. And you can kind of see that's just, he's not really killing off the units fast enough. And there's that recall. Only recalling the Stalkers for the time being. He doesn't have a cybernetic score, so he can't remake those. So that might have been a big mistake, actually. Oh, no. Looks like Solar will be able to take it by the skin of his teeth. That small mistake from ZEST cost him the game. And, yeah, spawn pool going down, cybernetics core, and the Nexus on the other side of things. So, again, nothing too crazy to start things off. Nothing really too much else to say, as these guys kind of just power up, get ready to go for the next stage. Looks like it will be Warp Gate once again, and I'm curious, what will we see out of ZEST? There we go. That's the Stargate, and yeah, I think he is going to be going Sky Toss. So for Solar, once he recognizes that it is that Stargate, he's got a couple of different moves that he can kind of pull out. The obvious one, spread the creep, get the queens across the map as quickly as possible, and just crush through your opponent before he really has an army to speak of. Or sit back, allow yourself to get into the late game, and kind of play it out a bit slower, just so that you can kind of whittle down your opponent as slowly as possible without taking a bad engagement. That second one, pretty much a nightmare, so I hope he doesn't do that. But he has seen the Void Ray, and that is going to be a pretty telling sign for him. As we got more queens on the way, another big swell of drones. And there is the second Stargate coming on out. The Oracle, getting a little bit big for its britches, will take a lot of damage here, only getting one kill. And so that's going to be a little bit less effective once he decides to move across the map again. Now Lair is down, Roach Warren has been started, so I think from here, Solar is just kind of getting ready for that. I like getting rid of the Queep because it does mean that these queens are going to have a harder time making it across. But yeah, I don't think Solar really cares. I think he just wants to be aggressive, be a little bit dirty with these lings, and he should be perfectly fine to do that. As you can kind of see, the Void Ray will be able to clean it up, but not very quickly, I might imagine. Oh no, it looks like ZEST kind of pulling out one of his newer builds, going straight into double carrier. I don't like that. Like, carriers can be really good. They can be utilized quite effectively, but only in high numbers. Once you got that corruptor count nice and high, just a small amount of carriers does go down very, very quickly here. And so now we kind of wait for the build-up, as Solar's just going to be cleaning up some of these rock wall formations just to make sure that these carriers don't have a lot of room to breathe. Queens are going to be able to get on top of this. It looks like they're just going to focus fire down the interceptors, make those carriers a little bit less efficient. Running out of energy, though, he will lose one of those Queens. The second one will be able to escape. So ZEST kind of just trading out the interceptors. Not really the biggest of deals, but now 12 Corruptors on the way. This is where it gets dicey for him. He's building up 8 gateways to help out on the ground, and he's going to start transitioning into Void Rays. But at the same time, 13 Corruptors versus not a whole lot. And now that creep spread is getting really, really close. So I think from here, Solar just needs to start pumping out the units and try and kill ZEST soon. Here we go. These Corruptors just going to dive on top of everything. Gets 2 carriers for relatively free. Third one will go down as well. Solar just able to get this nice trade. Even going to get the Void Ray. Just focus firing them down. 6 more Corruptors on the way as well. So every single unit lost here for ZEST is a huge momentum loss. Yeah, he warps in a bunch of Zealots, but there's not really too much on the ground here. The Lings just going to be enough to shoo away. What comes through here? So the air army is gone. He's popped the shield battery overcharge, but that is now done. Last of the carriers goes down. Oh my goodness, this is just going so wrong for ZEST. He has lost his air army, forced to warp in a ton of Stalkers to deal with the Corruptors in the sky, but now Solar can just pump the ground army. And, yeah, ZEST, knowing the situation he's in, is just going to try and expend a little bit of his units out on the map. Sorry about that. Yeah, here we go. One big storm gonna blanket this force, but Solar just pushing his way through, and that is gonna be it. Kaitsu Gaming takes the series 4-2.